Thanks to Manta Sleep for sponsoring today's video. So, Marvel Zombies dropped. Did anyone else know this? I found out about this show, and I kid you not, the day it dropped because of a Marvel Instagram post. So I, as a considerate content creator like I am, decided to sit back and give the show a shot. The only episode of What If Season 1 I vaguely remember was related to zombies anyway. So I plan to rant about this show, as I feel like the best course of action in terms of talking about it is in that format. Going through the ups and downs I had with the show episode by episode, which isn't a lot because there's only 4. If you're at all curious as to what my actual reaction was to watching the show, check out my Patreon. All of the episode reactions are there for your entertainment. So to preface, I did not go back and watch the zombies episode of What If. I'm of the opinion that if a TV show needs you to do homework in order to understand what's happening in this new show, then color me uninterested because I'm not watching it. So if I critique some things that happen to be answered from the What If episode, well, don't get mad at me, because who willingly goes back to watch What If anyway?
He's out of line. But he's right.
So the first episode starts with our first ever introduction to the new Avengers. Crazy, right? Our first chemistry test between these new characters is on a Disney Plus animated spin-off show. No! With the characters being Ironheart, Kate Bishop, and Ms. Marvel. The dialogue they had with each other was fun. We learned quickly that the lead of the show, the person whose point of view we're going to be looking at this show from, is from Ms. Marvel. Now, I get it. We need to start engaging in the legacy characters we've introduced post-Endgame, because dear lord, watching this show made me realize how much care is needed for half of the post-Endgame characters, because, whew, I forgot almost half of them in this show. With 4 episodes of development, there is none. There's none. There's no development. You get thrown right into the series off rip. So the show immediately establishes this MacGuffin that can wipe out the zombie plague. They just trek out into the middle of Ohio. Rest in peace. My brain rot is so bad, every time they said this state, I just thought of these memes. In the midst of this, we get our first introduction to the zombie action this show is basically being watched for. And I'll admit, I had a hell of a time, alright? I mean, it's zombies getting their heads blown off or being viciously ripped apart. Like, where can you go wrong with that? Makes a mutant of a human like myself shed a few tears, I can't lie. Oh, bro. But due to this, both Kate and Riri die. Supposedly. They die. They get killed off because of the zombies. And, like, thank God, not in a way that I'm, like, praying on their downfall. It's just, I don't understand how shows like these always have, like, street-level people that somehow survive this. Like, you're telling me Captain Marvel got infected by a zombie, Thanos got infected by a zombie, but Kate Bishop didn't? Make it make sense. In the midst of this, though, they brought out the Eternal Icarus, which the Eternals being used in the big 2-5. My jaw was on the floor. I was not expecting to see an Eternals reference, let alone a character from that movie being used in any sort of property ever again. I thought Marvel wiped those characters clean. In my humble opinion, Eternals had way more creative sauce than almost all post-Endgame movies, so the Eternals erasure is kind of insane to me. Anyways, Blade shows up with the Moon Knight god Khonshu in him. Insane. We have Wesley Snipes as normal Blade in the MCU in a live-action property before the actual MCU Blade is shown in a live-action property. What's crazy is that Blade's first ever MCU introduction is in a spin-off animated Disney Plus show. I think that's just insane. I think that's kind of wild to me. So Kamala and Blade team up and eventually get to where they're supposed to go, and it's this mansion run by Black Widow's family, who somehow have chips that can control the zombies. Well, how does that work? Take a guess, ladies and gentlemen. Does Marvel explain it? Absolutely not. They don't tell you. Neither do they say how they got enough manufactured to chip like 200 plus zombies outside their estate. But I digress. Another cool action scene ensues. Black Widow's mom, Melina, dies. Roll credits. Overall, fun parts to this episode, but a lot of stuff unanswered. So how did episode 2 fare for me? So episode 2 opens up with probably my favorite opening of the series, showcasing the past in this long outbreak thrilling sequence with Shang-Chi. Starting to see a pattern, this show is giving these post-Endgame characters some shine. And honestly, I don't mind, because I really like Shang-Chi. Loved his movie anyway. We get some insight that the Pims had started this outbreak potentially, and also caused zombies to enlarge or shrink, which that's so cool. I really wish there was more done with this factoid, but yeah, it's like 5 to 10 minutes of pure action extravaganza. Can't go wrong there. Plus, with the idea that the show will dive into the outbreak more per episode, sign me up. I mean, that's kind of what I'm here for. I want to know how it started and how it develops, right? Now, we have a secondary squad consisting of rather interesting characters. Them being Shang-Chi, Katie from Shang-Chi, Jimmy Woo, and the Death Dealer. This new crew spent 5 years together, so their history in the outbreak is quite strong. Their path brings them to the raft, where it's an underwater sanctuary hidden away from zombies. There, they cross paths with Miss Marvel, Yelena, Red Guardian, all of the people from the first episode. I think it leads to some fun interactions. I highly doubt any of these C-list characters, besides a few, will interact with each other in Doomsday or Secret Wars. I mean, there's going to be like 600 characters in both those films, so seeing this random assortment of characters is fun. It's enjoyable. However, the guy leading the raft, Baron Zemo. Nice to see him turn a new leaf? No, absolutely not. He immediately betrays them and gives them to zombie Namor. Nonetheless, this action scene underwater was breathtaking. I can't lie. Anyways, the inevitable Namor crash out causes the team to evacuate using a submarine pod, but Yelena sacrifices herself in order for them to get away. If only I spent more time with her. You know, it's ironic. The supposed life and grief of this show is very much as lifeless as the zombies in said show. I just mean that the deaths don't really feel that bad to me. Each death is pictured to be this grandiose and sad thing, yet I sat there like,
oh no. Anyway,
because the story is very linear. It's like, okay, we have this MacGuffin and we need to get it to the new Asgardians so the Nova Corps can help us. Alright, let's do it. Yet these death scenes have me feeling like I could take a nap and wake up like I missed nothing important at all. And speaking of sleep, recently I've had the worst sleep. Maybe it's due to me constantly staying up late and editing, abusing my Premiere Pro subscription. Hey, putting out videos like this isn't easy, alright? Manta Sleep recently reached out to me about using their product, and it honestly couldn't have happened at a better time. So after perusing their catalog, I learned a lot about their products, and one thing Manta Sleep is all about is enriching your ability to get a good night's rest. Especially during the summertime, when days are longer and they're much brighter, I've realized that enhancing your environment with proper resting habits is like actually very ideal and very healthy. You know, you learn something new every single day. So recently I've been using their Pro Mask for the past couple of weeks. The reason I like using this throughout the day is because I legitimately can't see with this thing on right now with my eyes open. It just completely blocks out the sun, which is really, really good for me. All of their masks are adjustable, so you can put it around anyone's head without having any trouble, even someone like Kingpin. All of them have this very smooth feel to them, which makes your sleep much more comfortable, and it's basically weightless. You don't really feel it on your face at all. If you guys are at all interested in any of their products, check the link in my bio and use code DELICIOUS10 if you want to save 10% off on any of the products that you find the most useful or interesting for your needs. Thanks again to Manta Sleep for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. So then episode 3 starts differently because my boy Spider-Man is narrating it, and it's this long exposition dumping piece about how zombie Thanos with the Infinity Stones was this gargantuan threat, and only Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Ant-Man's head, Sorcerer Supreme, could stop him, which I know Thanos is zombified, okay, and that's the reason for why he's not as powerful, but Thanos post-Endgame feels like the boss you unlock after defeating them in their boss fight in a video game, alright? He's gotten bodied like 3 times now in different scenarios. Now I will say, the way these 3 are moving in this scene, whoo-wee! Bro, I need Spidey to be moving like this in a brand new day. Turns out the narration is actually just a story Spidey is telling the kids at Comertage to memorialize Black Panther. And I've got to say this too. The emphasis the entire MCU has for killing off T'Challa, any chance he's on screen is honestly comical at this point. I get it. Chadwick Boseman was the GOAT. But do we plan on never using T'Challa, like ever again, in all of the MCU? We've recasted many a people in the MCU. Okay, we have. Why not Black Panther? That's all I'm saying. It's been a long time now. I think the fact that T'Challa is just kind of getting erased from the MCU is honestly more of a disservice than just memorializing Black Panther. But that's my opinion on that anyway. But apparently, T'Challa pushing Thanos into this reactor caused a massive beam to form in the sky, radiating those stones. And Wanda is on her way trying to get that power. So it's like, okay, the story is starting to pick up. Nice. Spidey narrating the story honestly made me wish this whole show was in his point of view. I will glaze Spider-Man at any chance I can get. Okay. Finally, the show picks back up with the main squad as they enter New Asgard, which they do because Valkyrie and Khonshu are homies like that, I guess? Anyways, another piece of the opening I left unmentioned until now is this. Thor was sent to Earth to stop zombie Thanos, but got humiliated. The way this scene is set up feels like a comedy gag, like it's comical how they go out of their way to be like, yeah, Thor? He got his shit rocked, bro. As if the past 7 years haven't done enough to destroy this dude's movement in this entire franchise. It's sickening. So once they get to New Asgard, Wanda just shows up looking all normal, until, shocker, she's not, and snuck in to overtake the new Asgardians. My god, man, are we supposed to believe it took her 5 years to break into this place? And how dumb are the Asgardians truly? Because it seems to be worldwide knowledge that Scarlet Witch in this universe is spearheading the zombie outbreak. So they build this massive wall to keep zombies out, and then casually let their leader in. And then Valkyrie has the gall to be surprised she's faking it. So the entire squad try and escape, but almost fail until Thor gets the motion he deserves. Again, I need this kind of movement from Thor in the future, cause damn, is it pretty cool. He was giving Wanda hands. So in comes my favorite part of this episode, and that's the moment they get to outer space. They run into the Nova Corps, and the MacGuffin they've been trying to give them is about to be in their hands until the Nova Corps don't care. They're simply in Earth's orbit to contain the spread of the zombie disease from infecting other planets. Dope. I really liked that twist. Until you realize, how the hell is zombified Captain Marvel not destroying this core right now? She easily could. Okay, but other than that, the show ends in this kind of melancholic way, leading into the finale. Alright, we're on episode 4. Maybe finally we'll learn how this entire outbreak... No, we don't. We don't. It opens with a space chase, which is fun nonetheless, but the way this show does not want to acknowledge the outbreak or how certain heroes or villains got this zombified thing is just kind of insane to me, at least in my opinion. So episode 4, we finally made it, right? The whole plot from before was worthless. The gang can't save the world because the Nova Corps won't help, or they just refuse to. So trying to escape certain death, they end up with Spidey and co. in Kamar-Taj, where it's revealed this whole time that after Black Panther died, the radiation from the stones called for a being of a certain radioactivity to contain it. Yup. The Hulk took the stones and became a literal god with it, and the reason Wanda's been amassing an army is so she can be strong enough to take on this godlike Hulk figure, which, with the Hulk being done so dirty in the past 10 years, I can't believe it's been 10 years, I was ecstatic seeing a Hulk with aura. I mean, the shots of this man go so hard. Feel free to screenshot. So basically, with Wanda having taken new Asgardians as soldiers, she's got the army she needs. So this squad now needs to protect Hulk so she can't take over the world. Ensues a 15-minute long animated battle that needs no introduction. Can't lie, seeing this kind of movement from all these characters was entertaining as hell. I mean, this shot goes so hard. But I raise this, with how they described the Hulk, I don't know how he could have been stopped at all. This dude is infused Infinity Stones. How could Wanda even be powerful enough to stop him? Sure, she has like reality warping powers, but can't Hulk overpower that with his literal reality stone infused body? I feel like there's absolutely no way to overpower him. But after the Hulk and Zombie Thor go blow for blow, and half of the protagonist squad gets killed, we're left with just Miss Marvel, Wanda, and the Hulk side by side. Wanda seemingly overpowers the Hulk with ease. Again, I don't know how, but she does, and throughout the show, there's been a constant presence of Wanda in Miss Marvel's head, trying to convince her to join her cause. So here's where the whole show falls apart for me. Wanda overpowers the Hulk, gets Miss Marvel to give up fighting, and seemingly puts her in this fake world, where in a crazy turn of events, not actually real, and the zombie-infected world still exists. I think this sucks. And not in terms of the actual plot itself, just in how it's presented. Let's compare why the ending of Inception works where Marvel Zombies fails. I know this is a crazy comparison, but just stay with me now. The ending of Inception involves Leonardo DiCaprio's character Cobb overcoming limbo and seemingly enjoying his time in the real world, finally being able to see his kid's face for the first time in years. Nolan implies that it's the real world, but because of the spinning top being spun at the end and the final shot being it wobbling, we don't fully know if it's real life, or maybe he's still in limbo. Brilliant. Why though? Because the finale puts all of the characters in positions where failure could have been shown, but they seemingly overcame it. Imagine if Leonardo let his wife see his kids in limbo. Cobb falls to his knees, gives up, and then has this happily ever after. But then it distorts with a vicious reality right at the end. That would suck, at least in my opinion. With zombies, the ending makes the entire show pointless. Like legitimately, Wanda didn't really need to do any of this. All of the actions Miss Marvel takes are pointless. The show makes it clear that that's exactly the point. I don't mind a melancholic ending as long as it's earned. Thanos beating the Avengers was a valid ending. This isn't, because the finale sets up Kamala in this fake world with people we already know are dead. So it automatically triggers the thought, oh, these people aren't real. I'd have preferred if the show left their death ambiguous, so if they showed up in this scene, I'd consider it a possibility. Secondly, the Hulk getting overpowered shouldn't have happened either. There should have been more of a possibility that maybe Hulk won the fight over Wanda. Hulk has all the Infinity Stones infused in his veins. You're telling me he can't take some of Kamala's cosmic energy and overpower Wanda? I don't know. But I'd at least like the show try that. And that would have also gotten rid of Kamala's weak ending where she just gives up to Wanda. And this is kind of my opinion, but I'm also just kind of sick of Wanda and her power scale in general. I think it's been ridiculous over the past few years. Like, I guess she's powerful, but my lord, the power scaling over the past 10 years from Age of Ultron to now with Wanda is wild. I'm all for ambiguous endings because it's interesting, but with how it's presented right now in this show, it's clear that Wanda took over the world, made Kamala a fake world in her head, and now she's trapped there. I honestly think if the show took the Inception route, made us believe she possibly could have beat Wanda, and then the final shot be this sort of ambiguous ending where maybe, just maybe, Wanda was still in control instead of just yelling at us that she is, that would work so much better because I do like these characters. I didn't mind this story for the most part. I don't even hate Wanda. I just feel like the ending is lackluster and the characters lose just because the writers were like, I don't know what to do now. Of course, a show about a zombie, super-powered world shouldn't end in sunshine and rainbows. I get that. But come on, you might not like how I wrote this ending, but at least it's me trying to come up with something better than what this was. So yeah, that's Marvel Zombies in a nutshell. As you can see, the show is a mixed bag. I don't think it's horrible. Honestly, there's things to enjoy here. Like I said, the action scenes are very fun. There's some earnest dialogue between characters, fun banter, but the inherent lack of writing in depth for a multitude of different things is insane. Like, the whole Pym backstory that I thought was going to get developed doesn't. The insanely powerful beings that somehow get zombified, that shouldn't really get zombified, don't get explained. A lot of things in this show are just blatantly told to you. Like, the story is told through dialogue, which is one of my biggest critiques with any sort of media. Like, if you're just blatantly telling me what's about to happen, like, come on, do you just not trust me to understand what you're about to show? And of course, yeah, I'm not a fan of the ending. Also, the what if animation is so hit or miss. In action scenes, it looks great, but my god, the facial animations are just horrifying sometimes. It's like uncanny valley levels of weird. The faces just don't move. Sleep paralysis demon energy. I'll also say in Marvel terms, the humor is dialed way back. There's a few lines with that Marvel cringe humor stapled across it, but in recent years, especially since 2019 onward, every time a serious scene happens in a Marvel movie, I brace my stomach because I know in my heart there's going to be a horrific joke coming that's going to ruin the tonality.
What do you think is coursing through my veins right now?
Cheese whiz.
I did this with this show, expecting it to happen, and shockingly, there weren't many moments where this did. The whole mature rating, I think, helped tremendously with that. In terms of characters that were my favorite, I enjoyed Blade a lot, was happy to see Shang-Chi, and I thought Ms. Marvel was great too. I'll always love seeing Spider-Man, and seeing the Hulk get some shine in this was nice too. Again, I like that they gave some spotlight to more lesser-known characters since Endgame came out. In rating terms, I'd give this show a 5 out of 10. I truly believe that if this show was just given 4 more episodes, 4 episodes really for this? 4 episodes? If they got 4 more episodes to develop the backstories a little bit more, enrich the history, then I would have liked it more. If you're curious to see my reactions to this episode in full, remember to check out my Patreon to get full uncut reactions for this and many more films/TV shows that are to come, as well as other features that you get like patron-specific videos, suggestions for rankings in the future for this channel, and so much more. If you do decide to sign up, the support is truly appreciated. I love all of you very, very much. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and all that jazz. Remember, this is my opinion of Marvel Zombies. Go and watch the show for yourself to make your own opinion of it. And once you do, let me know in the comments below. I appreciate Mantis Sleep for sponsoring today's video. I appreciate you all for watching this video. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.